Is your gear limiting you? Hey guys, my name is Matthew and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today what we're going to talk about is your gear limiting you? So honestly, it just depends. And I know you're like, what? What do you mean it depends? Well, what are you trying to take pictures of? I bought this camera, it's a Nikon D3200 back in 2014, 2015 on eBay. I wanted to take pictures that weren't on my phone. So I found this on eBay pretty cheap. It had some issues. The SD card slot door is broken. As you can see, I didn't break it. It came like that. I did not get this lens that's currently on there with it, but I did get these other two kit lenses. Now, I thought I was getting a really good deal, and I did. It was like $200, you know, but I didn't understand the difference between a zoom lens and a prime lens. Up until recently, like in this past year, I did not know what the point of having a lens that just stayed at one focal length was. And then I learned it's a prime lens and they have other features like aperture. I was taking pictures and I could not figure out why they weren't nice and sharp and focused. And I was also still shooting on auto, I must say that, up until like this last year. And then I found something out. I needed a different lens. So to take portrait pictures, I needed something that I could get the aperture low enough to give that pretty bokeh effect or blurry background. And so I bought on eBay again this 35mm lens for my camera. This goes down to 1.8 aperture and that gives you that kind of focus in. Whereas these go down to 5.6 and 3.5. Actually, let me verify that real quick. It's kind of rubbed off here, but I don't want to tell you wrong. Oh, no. It did go lower. 4.2. My newest lens that I bought later goes down to 1.8. And what that means is you can change the aperture to where you can have your subject in focus and then behind they have a blurry background or what's referred to as a bokeh effect. And that's what I needed for my portrait pictures. But I'm going to throw up on the screen a picture that I took at a senior session a month or two ago that I took with my 35. And if I was doing these, if I still had just these lenses, I would not have been able to get the background to look like that without any edits. Now that's another thing, you can edit them in. Lightroom has some great tools for the background now that you can use. But if you want to be able to get that image straight out of the camera, and Lightroom doesn't always do as great as what a lens can do. Having this 35mm lens really did change the pictures that I took. I was not using this one. I hardly ever used this one. I used to use it when my brother was playing soccer in high school to get, you know, zoomed in images. But as far as after doing business things, no, I didn't use this. It was either this one or this one. Mostly this one. I have very much enjoyed it. Even with this lens, I'm still limited by this camera. It's a crop censored camera, so what that means is with this lens, it can actually see more than what the camera can see. I wanted to have a dual card slot. That way I have a backup if something happens. I cannot get as sharp as an image out of it as I would like to. I've gotten a lot closer with this lens, but it still does have its limitations. It's not bad. It's still a great camera, but in this stage of my business, I felt like it was time to move on. I was ready to upgrade. I learned a lot with this camera, and now I've got a mirrorless camera that I'm really excited about. I've had for less than a month, so I'm still learning how to use it. Videos are to come on it. Everything was not limited to this camera like I thought that it was at one point. I wondered, why do these images look blurry and gross and what is going on? I also was shooting in auto. Advice to you, if you want to really learn how your camera is, you need to go ahead and shoot in manual all the time. Play with your settings. It's okay to fail. That's how you learn. That's what I've done. I'm still failing, but it's okay. That's how you learn. This camera has served me well. But when I bought it, I had no intention of starting a photography business. It has its limitations. It's was first released, I believe, I looked it up and it was 2011, so it's over 10 years old. So technology has changed. And I wanted a mirrorless camera anyway, and then when the R6 Mark II came out, I was like, it's time. I did not want to get the regular R6 because it actually has less megapixels than this camera does. And the R6 Mark II is the same. Now, I know the big question you have, why did I switch to Canon? Well, Nikon is all I ever really knew. All I had experience with. This is the only one that I've actually owned myself. But my aunt who takes pictures, that's always what she had, even film camera wise. So I was like, Nikon, I guess. I loved this camera. I love Nikon, but I took pictures on a Canon 5D Mark III, and I just loved how good the pictures looked straight out of the camera. And I was like, okay, maybe I should consider Canon. I have had that camera for less than a month now. Still trying to figure out the color on it when it comes to editing, but just the sharp, clear pictures that I get out of it, I love it. A video will come on that soon, but that's why I switched. Limitations on gear is something that you have to decide. I cannot make that decision for you. It depends on a lot of different things. What kind of pictures are you trying to take? Are you trying to take action photos, sports pictures? Are you trying to take portraits, family photos, weddings? That's all up to you. Thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.